So there's 4 ways out of the hospital. And the first one we don't even want to talk about because they wouldn't be here with us anymore. So we're just going to skip that one. And the second one is they discharge back to their house. If they just were in for a little something or another and they just needed a little tweak of medicine or a little extra oxygen or something and now they're better, they may be able to go back to their house. And depending on the situation before they got to the hospital, you might want to use that time in the hospital to make that transition. It's a lot easier to move them from the hospital to a rehab or to a new assisted living than it is to drag them out of their house. So if you are one of those people that have been looking for an opportunity to strike while they're in the hospital. Another way people get out of the hospital is if they go straight to a senior living scenario. And that's not a bad thing at all. You know, not everyone needs the same amount of rehab. You can move from a hospital to an assisted living and you can have that home health come to them here in the building just like they would at their house. But the big difference there is they also have all of us and all of the caregivers for support every day. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 sort of deal, which works out really well. And another way they can get out is they discharge to rehab. So here's another way the freight train keeps moving along those tracks is if they discharge to rehab. So most people that discharge to rehab and then they're discharging from rehab to senior living, most of those people wind up in assisted living, like we are here at My Home Away from Home at Bradfield Place. And we would love to have your family here. If you're in the Mesquite, East Dallas, Garland area, give me a call. We'll find you some space. But in general, that's what's going to happen. You're going to discharge from a rehab into assisted living. And again, this is another one of those golden opportunities. If you've been trying to move your parent to senior living and they've been fussing and saying no, now is the time. You are in the driver's seat. You can get this done. Once you get them back in their house, it's murderously difficult to pry them out again. And so now you're waiting for that whole runaway freight train cycle to start all over. You're waiting for them to break a hip. You're waiting for them to fall. You're waiting for something awful to happen. And nobody wants that. No one wants to be waiting around for their parent to get hurt before they do something. That's just an awful thought, isn't it? It's so much easier if you grab these golden opportunities when you have them and walk away clean with it, because they will adjust and it will be okay. And quite honestly, if they're discharging from a rehab, the vast majority of the time, they're going to need us for backup. And if they don't have us for backup, guess who they're using? You. If you have a loved one in rehab, now is the time to look for senior living. Now is the time where you need to start making all those phone calls from that list you got from the hospital. You need to call me. I can also give you the name of several senior locators that all they do is just work with you and your family to help you find the right fit. And that is really important because they're going to save you time, and time is of the essence right now. So if they're in rehab, the clock is ticking. Now's the time. Start looking around, start making phone calls. It's so easy right now to tour a million different places because you can do it in your pajamas from a video. So keep those things in mind and keep that thing moving, because what'll happen, and what almost always happens, is they get out of rehab when you're not anticipating them to. You think you've got all the time in the world to get this situation under control, and you wind up getting stuck and making a quick decision when really you had the time, but you didn't know that before was when you were supposed to be looking. So whenever you decide which assisted living you're going to move to, then you need to decide what they're going to take with them to that assisted living. Because assisted living, like I've said, you have your own apartment, You can put in there whatever you will. It comes unfurnished so that you can make that just like their home, just in a downsized sort of way. So while they're still in rehab, you want to take financial responsibility of that assisted living community, and you want to start moving in their things. Make that nest for them. You know them better than anyone else in the world. You know what they're going to want and what they don't want. And I hear a bunch of you out there saying, yeah, but mama's really particular and she's going to want to move her own things. Well, she doesn't have the option right now. So you're going to have to set her up the best way you can. And then once she gets here and she gets settled, she may say, you know what, I think I'd rather have this in that place instead of that. And then you can deal with it. But right now, we're just trying to get over the hump of going through the hospital, through rehab, and landing over here, which is gonna feel like landing on Mars for just a few weeks. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope this helps you. Remember to slow down. Let's calm down. Let's think it through. Give me a call.